Hello, everybody. I am Monkeypuzzle, and this is episode 27, playing the Direwolf20 pack for Minecraft 1.7.10 here on the Primus Server. And this is just going to be a short episode, hopefully, I say now. I just wanted to wrap up a little bit of what became of this mob arena. Hopefully you guys aren't sick of it yet. I have been a man obsessed with getting these mobs to fight one another. So I made a lot of changes and I want to show you guys what I did, and then I'm going to get ready to do another kind of episode with something else. But I wasn't quite ready for that. I thought maybe you'd need a break from this, but no. More mob versus mob arena for you. Anyway, behind me you can see a really comical thing. Oh, finally, okay. Something finally happened with it. The vinculatus over there works now for the Enderman. I put it down here on the lower level, and it's not floating, which means now that it doesn't make light. I've actually got my night vision on right now so that you guys can see in here. I keep it pretty dark because it has to work for the cursed earth, and you can see, well, I'm back to the cursed earth. After the trials before, I had pretty much given up on trying to exclude creepers and telecreepers. Yo, ducky. And because they were just blowing up the place. Well, the creepers, the blowing up I could have controlled, but the telecreepers were teleporting everybody out of here into spawn, and I just didn't think my server mates would appreciate that in the long run, even though they're all very tough guys and I'm sure they could handle it. So yeah, I had gone to just stacking spawners in here, selected spawners. I've got them downstairs, I'll show you. I had like red caps from the Twilight Forest and zombies and skeletons and witches, and they were going at it. It was a big mob fight and it was working really great. I was just a little disappointed because I wanted a totally random selection of mobs and not just the mob spawners. I wanted to use the cursed earth, but when I had put the aversion obelisk to exclude these guys, it didn't work. But you can see that something has changed. They're not blowing up. You know, I sent them to some anger management classes, and the whole creeper race has decided to just mellow out. And, you know, I can just come and have a nice little man-to-man talk with them, man-to-thing talk, and you. Sometimes they run away from me. They get a little scared. They realize that, you know, I'm a little intimidating, and they got to get out of town. But for the most part, you know, I'm able to relate to them now. No, really, it's this thing. It's a flower called the Tigerseye, which was suggested to me. And this is another Botania flower. So now we have 4 Botania flowers in action. And this has been a good exercise for me in learning all these flowers and what they do and so on. So what the Tigerseye does is it keeps creepers from exploding. And I was hoping that it would also work on the telecreepers. Hey, little zombie guy. I was just trying to eliminate these guys so we can get some more spawns. Why don't you go after the creepers? So we've got the high side dream down there still, which is making the mobs fight one another for the most part. And you saw some of that, but it works selectively. Something about the Tiger's Eye makes the creepers passive. So sometimes other mobs attack them, and sometimes they don't. So now we see we've got the little baby zombie, and the spider went at it, and then the skeleton went after the spider. Oh, and see, now he did go after the telecreeper, and the telecreeper had like a little mock explosion there, but he didn't teleport everybody else out of the ring. So, oh, sorry, Brink, I'm recording, otherwise I would sleep. So anyway, this is more what I was looking for. Just smaller number of mobs. I gotta tell him that I am wrecking. So, where was I? Yeah, so this is more what I was looking for. the mobs. We have a smaller number of mobs than when I had them all dropping down from the spawners, and so we can watch the little fights. We can keep track of who the reigning champion is. And wait a minute, you're not supposed to turn on me. There you go. Turn on each other. And yeah, so I've had great fun just watching these guys go. And if I didn't explain it too well before, the vinculatus over there, what it does is anytime an Enderman wants to teleport. Oh, wow, that is the first time that that has happened. Where's my Tigerseye? It must have got sucked in to the system down below. Those guys are going to finish fighting it out. Oops. I got my far reach on for the drawbridges down there. Huh. So, of course, I would record, and for the first time ever, my flower got blown up. But up until this point, for about 2 days of running it, it has kept the mobs, the creepers, from blowing anything up. I've gotten a few explosions, but nothing too bad. But luckily, it just went down here, and so we'll just call that a little anomaly. We'll put this back in, and it will continue to stop the creepers from exploding. So yeah, this is fun. It's just a nice little mellow thing. You can come over here and watch the mobs beat each other up and behave in ways that mobs don't normally do. So this is a whole exercise in mob manipulation. And, you know, it's their self-grinding. They're beating themselves up. So let me show you the rest of it. I think I've covered what's going on up here. I can turn it back on. And the cursed earth just comes back up. And the mobs start going at it again. And there's really no predicting who will win. The zombies, though, tend to dominate, especially when they have a sword. But the reigning champion always eventually dies. It's just breaks when you don't heal. And yeah, I'm kind of learning who goes after who. Like the spiders never go after creepers, but the zombies always go after everybody for the most part. The fallen knights don't always, but these guys always come in and clean up, and they may or may not kill the creepers. So yeah, thanks to the Tigerseye, is now working, and I could actually put the flowers in the ring, except for what you saw. So yeah, we could just stand here and watch the play for a while. It's pretty fun. Ooh, oh, this was an invisible spider or something. I'm not sure what killed him. Okay, well, on that note with the skeleton, he's saying, go downstairs. So, there it is, the mob versus mob arena. And I got a note for my server mates to come down to the chest below and help themselves if they want to. And some instructions on turning it on and off. And we'll go over that in detail down here right now. So, let me see. First, these were the spawners I had put up before, each with a piece of cursed earth under them. Got them labeled if I want to go back to that. The good thing about that setup, it was, if I want stuff, man, I got stuff. This thing filled up in like 10, 15 minutes from that. And then 2 days or so of running it like that, I've got this. So it's a big difference. It's not very efficient at all. It has been very cool in getting me music discs, though. So it turned out it's a really good record farm, and I've got a bunch more that I took back to the base so I could rock out. So it's good for that. And I've been getting some new stuff, the Ender Zoo stuff, because of the Cursed Earth. I'm getting the, you know, which does spawn the Ender Zoo critters. I'm getting this confusing powder and these Ender fragments. We got, I think this is probably when I killed the witches, because I don't think the mobs generate that. And same with this creeper heart. But yeah, you know, some potions and some stuff. Definitely enough to keep me in bone meal when I need it occasionally, and to provide entertainment. So there's that. I've got these set up that the armor and arrows and stuff all get tossed away in there. I'm still putting together full sets of iron and leather and chain and gold, which I don't get a ton of in here. And then I've got these all, that's the highest priority down to the lowest priority. And if we ever fill all these chests up, things will then start spilling into my ME system with my ender chest down here. So, what is running all this? So, up there we've got the 2 Botania flowers. And then down here we've got two more, the High Side Dream and, whoops, the Tangleberry down here. And this is what's keeping the spiders from climbing up out of the ring. Otherwise they would be up there and getting them. But the Tangleberry keeps them contained in an area that just serendipitously happens to be the same size as my arena. So that's great. And then this is a fifth flower, actually. This is called a Mana Star. And you see these little red particle effects? It tells you whether you're at a profit or loss with your mana pool down here. And there's a lot of generation happening down there. I know you can hear it in the background. We'll get to that in a minute. If this was gaining mana, this would glow blue. So I just put this in as a tool because I found that the Tigerseye up there, that even though it solved my problem with the creepers, it drains a huge amount of mana. I've got tons of mana tablets built up, but with all these vacuum chests up here, I can't put a mana tablet down here. Anything that you throw out around here just gets sucked up towards the vacuum chests. So I was like, okay, no problem. Let's just generate mana on site. Because a mana spreader, it can just shoot mana to it. So let's see what it takes to keep this thing full. And I thought, oh, I'll just set up a few endo flames, so I started with 4 and just a simple thing around the pressure plate with a open crate and the whole setup that you saw me do over there. I've got the redstone conduit coming up the back. It turns this off when something's sitting on the pressure plate, but it turns out I kept adding and adding and adding, trying to get this to be enough to keep that full. And I still haven't quite gotten there. I made these things. These are new. These are the Elven mana spreaders made of the dream wood I got from throwing living wood into the portal to Alfheim. So these can handle more. I found out that they max out at 9 endo flames. Right now they're doing 7 each. And they're doing okay with that. They seem to be getting rid of that. I could try putting 4 more endo flames in here. And then these will have 8 each, and maybe they could handle that. But yeah, I even had to add on more stuff to feed all these. I found that the endo flames could only suck charcoal up about that far. And so I had to add these 2 accessory open crates over here to drop more stuff, all powered by this one. Sounds like a Enderman is getting attacked by a skeleton. We get into those loops sometimes here. And these are an interesting thing. These are the omnidirectional hoppers from Pneumaticraft. And they are just what they're called. They're hoppers that can go sideways. So I've got them on the conduit as well, getting turned on and off. So then we can just feed my charcoal like crazy to this whole system and try to keep up. But it doesn't I'm still running at a loss, as you can see from my, whoa, it's glowing blue. I had a profit there for a second. It's purple. But for the most part, this goes down and down and down. And so I'll get to a point here where it's down at the bottom and I'll show you what happens. But first I'm going to describe it to you. It's pretty loud for me up there, but I'm just going to turn those sounds down and try not to shout right now. And that's loud too, but hopefully I balanced it out in post-production. So yeah, this is losing, and it would not be good to keep the the cursed earth up while the high side dream is not working, because the mobs would stop killing each other and they would all just kind of loiter in there and hang out. So I want this redstone to turn off when this mana pool runs out. I already had this thing set up before, measuring if the mana pool was full, and so when it is, it gives a solid redstone signal to the redstone conduit that's controlling the hoppers. Turned out that didn't work too well because it never quite stays full. It gets up to the top and then it just kind of flickers on and off, and this flickers, and I think that actually drops more charcoal than not. So what I did is I put this thing on. It is called a state cell. It's one of the circuits from Project Red. And what it does is you can, if I click on it, you can set it for a timer. I've got it for 20 seconds. And when it gets a redstone signal from here, when that mana is full, the pipe wire just delivers that and tells this. Then what happens is that this then turns on, and it will stay on for 20 seconds, and that 20 seconds will reset if it gets another redstone signal. So basically, it just stays a solid on because of that until this stops flickering, and then it lets go. So that was cool for that. And then over here, what I've got set up is that when this runs out, well, we can look at this iron ore gate here. Basically, when it's full, it sends a blue pipe signal, and when it's empty, it sends a red pipe signal. So when it's full, it comes over here, and I've got this other circuit, the RS latch. In vanilla, we used to call this an RS NOR latch. But what it does is if it gets a signal from one side, it switches its state, and it won't change until it gets a signal from the other side. So when it's full, like it was previously, this side turns on, which then turns this piston on, which completes the circuit from the lever outside. When the mana pool is empty, it gets a red pipe signal, and then that hits over here, and I can just demonstrate it manually here. Say it was full, it got a red pipe signal. This then switches state, the RS latch, and then this is off. This piston retracts until it is full again. So it gets, basically there's a whole mana recharge state that happens, and then as soon as it's full again, gives the blue pipe signal, extends the piston again, and the thing starts over again. So that way, whenever we run out of power, the whole thing shuts down and recharges. So I can just leave it like that way, and I let it, as a test, I let it run overnight, and it went through a bunch of cycles like that of the mana recharging and then slowly getting used again, like that. So I think that's most of it. Maybe I'll hang out for a minute, watch the fights a little bit, and see if I can show you it actually trigger itself. It's not that exciting. And then I will wrap it up, and that'll be that for the episode. And I will start getting ready for the next one. Or I've already started, but I'll get even more ready for it. So I'll see you guys in a bit. See if any good shenanigans are going on up here. One problem with this is it basically does what I wanted it to do now. Very few mobs for lots and lots of power, which I call that a success. But the creepers tend to build up because they don't always get attacked, and they'll try to kamikaze sometimes. Oh, thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. Because when they're hanging out, they're using a ton of mana from this Tigerseye. So basically, the mana draw increases the more creepers are just kind of hanging out here. And now you forgot your job, man. Come on. You got two of them here. So sometimes when I'm hanging out watching, I'll just slowly eliminate them so they're not drawing power. And we get more other mobs spawning, doing interesting stuff. Like that. Alright, see you in a bit. Okay, well, I tried to record quite a bit of fun stuff here for you guys. It's hard to know. I could always keep recording. There's more action that could happen. But let's see how our power is doing down there. I suspect we're almost out. And let's see. Yeah, it's getting pretty low. Let me hang out here till it hits 0 and I'll show you what happens. Alright, well, it hung in there for quite a bit. It almost hit 0 a couple times, but it actually managed to regain a few times. It's all dependent on how many creepers are in there. Maybe I've almost reached the steady state. Maybe I should add those 4 more endo flames. But as soon as this hits 0, this gate should know it, and we'll see the whole thing automatically switch off. The line will get interrupted. That is the redstone signal that keeps all the drawbridges extended with the cursed earth that's spawning the mobs. So let's see if that happens now. Okay, we're just about there. As soon as we see the red pipe wire flash. Alright, there it is. So now it will stay off until this is all the way full again. And once there's no more mobs in there and the flowers aren't working so hard, it actually fills up relatively fast with the 4 elven mana spreaders. So that's it. That is the state of the mob versus mob spawner. And I'll leave it that way as long as I don't run out of charcoal. Let's go check real quick on how my charcoal reserves are doing. But let's take a peek here at how I'm doing. Let me see. I'm at 1,310,000 charcoal. When I started, I was at 133,000. So I've spent about 23,000 charcoal for not quite a chest full of goodies, but that wasn't the point. I did get all these nice records, so that's very cool. More records than I've ever had. Woohoo! We should play one. Let's see. What's a good one? I think I like this one. Oh yeah. So that's about it. That is the deal with the mob versus mob arena. So that's very cool. And one quick update is I ran that ender quarry over there for a very long time until I filled all this up, and this was all red, and this was all red down to like the last one. I opened up a little bit more space in here by starting some more DSUs. This one is all mud balls. 35,000 mud balls. And that's what I get for ender quarrying in a swamp. Woo! So, but otherwise we're doing pretty good on stuff. I probably don't need the ender quarry anymore for a while. I've got more than 2,000 diamonds and tons of ores and ingots and stuff like that. But, you know, just for fun, I'll probably make more DSUs, empty out my ME system with that, or make a lot of space, and keep quarrying. What the heck? Anyway, this is Monkeypuzzle, and I'm signing out. Oh yeah, I feel like I should be signing out in front of the mob versus mob arena, the MVM arena. Even though the mobs aren't currently fighting in it, but this is Monkeypuzzle. Thanks for watching another episode. I'll see you with something new next time. Bye-bye.